This is the first quote for the week 2 Life Notes, and this quote is: "Finding it increasingly difficult to become landowners, many white freemen and indentured servants were becoming angry and frustrated. They felt that they had been duped into coming to America. In 1649, pamphleteer warned planners about the men and women who, not finding what was promised, had become dejected." So what this is about is pretty much people came to America and they didn't get what they expected. They didn't get the land that they've been promised after serving their after serving their time with their masters. Anyway, this reminded me of a few events that had taken place, and actually I was just having a conversation with one of my good friends recently who lives in Moscow, and he was telling me about this, I believe it's Richnik settlement. It's right on the Moscow River, and what it is there's a bunch of houses there. They used to be old Soviet garden plots, but eventually as the Soviet Union collapsed, people who had property rights to that land built dachas, or like summer houses, and now some people even have mansions there. But anyway, the government decided that these people did not own the land technically, and they just initiated forced evictions in the middle of winter, and so they're kicking people out of these houses and knocking them down, and some of them are real nice houses. I'll try to find a link and post it below. And so I thought that was interesting that this kind of stuff is still going on today. In like the Soviet law at the time was, if you worked, like if you gardened and maintained a parcel of land assigned to you for more than 15 years, it became your own. But since the Soviet Union collapsed, even though they have these deeds, the government's trying to take this land away from them. So another thing this reminded me of was recently this summer I was watching the BBC, and they had an article, well, no, not an article, I guess, television program that described how, not exactly sure what the British term for it is, but it looked like people who had gardens in sort of what was the country at one time, but now London's encroached several miles out there and it's almost on top of them. But they want to remove these about acre garden plots, about 100 of them, and they're going to put something like a parking lot there for the upcoming 2012 Olympics. So that was interesting how, and as we I guess some people read, I don't know how popular the news on this was in the United States, but before the Summer Olympics in 2008, they evicted a lot of people, and evictions for government projects are really prevalent in China, and they don't, even if you do get evicted and the government promises to give you some great new house or new apartment, usually they don't follow through on that in China, at least. I'll try to find a video or a link or something and post that below about the Olympics as well. But it's just interesting that this kind of stuff is going on today, although it's not exactly the same as coming new to a country and expecting land. This is almost worse because these people have been living on this land for a very long time, and all of a sudden the government comes in, says you have to leave, and usually it's on really a really short time period, like maybe a year. You have 1 year to move out of this house, or 6 months that you've lived in for, I don't know, 20, or your family's lived in for 100 years. So I just thought that was interesting that this kind of stuff is still going on today.